This is how to prepare your garden beds for winter without using any compost, because you're not going to be growing anything in your beds for about 4 or 5 months. So just cover your compost bins and follow this method instead, because this is going to protect the soil and slowly feed soil life over the winter months. And then you can, in spring, use compost as a precision tool. This is a step-by-step video. So the goal is using organic material rather than organic matter, because organic material creates a much better insulation and it's going to keep soil life a lot more active, particularly worms, which are going to be bringing in that material, and it's going to help reduce any compaction issues. So you're kind of hitting spring on the front foot. So there are 2 main tools that you need: shears and a fork. You might need a trowel, but these are usually what I use. And the first thing to do is just have a look at what's in the bed already. I've actually got a couple of these self-sown Korean mint, which are a perennial. So what I'm going to do is cut the tops off, and because it's a perennial, I actually don't want this in this bed. So I am going to go lift this up as a root ball, shake off the worst of the roots, and that is something that I can plant out into my borders. So anything like that, I'm going to remove any perennials. But in terms of annuals, like this here, this rocket, what I'm going to do is actually cut it back to base level, because the idea is with the rocket is that this actually has fairly small roots. So the roots are going to create some soil structure to help stabilize it over winter and gradually break down. And I'm not taking any of this material to the compost bin. That's the most important thing. Now, if you do end up having something that might have large roots, like a brassica or sweet corn or something, that is when I would probably pull all of the roots out, just because in spring it can be a bit of a pain trying to plant around a real mat of roots. So I'm just going to continue getting any of the perennials out and cutting the annuals to base level. Now, the other core thing about this is that I want living roots in the ground for as long as possible. So I'm not really going to clear my beds until I've had the first major frosts. And we've had 2 or 3 this week, particularly last night, which was kind of more like -3, -4. So it's a perfect opportunity then to clear, because soil in its natural state, it wants plants growing. That's what soil is designed for. It's designed to have a relationship with plants. And so there's no point taking out plants prematurely, because then you're stopping that biological process. So having a bit of patience, being okay with it being a little bit messy is okay, because you're just helping to keep the soil in its natural state that it wants to be in. Now, the other thing is that every so often a little bit of disturbance in soil, in nature, is a natural thing. You don't want to do it multiple times a year, but once a year, if you are kind of clearing out, that's fine. And the reason why I am going in and loosening is because I have a weed here, which is creeping buttercup. And creeping buttercup is a bit of a pain. So it's actually something that I am going to remove, because it has these long roots that like to spread out and take over. Something like dandelion, I will actually keep the material here for the next step. But if you've got something serious like creeping buttercup or couch grass, then it's actually best to just get that out. So instead of trying to turn over the whole soil, what I usually do is put a fork in and kind of prise up, just to help loosen, so I can get the roots out like that. And then I'm not kind of turning it or upending the soil. And just a little tip for these roots is, when you're pulling the plant out of the ground, just give it a bit of a shake and it'll just help to tease it all out. So the whole goal is to mimic what happens in nature. In a woodland, leaves fall onto the floor, they create this carpet, and that is how woodlands kind of function for just thousands of years as a process in terms of the nutrition and that carbon. And so we want to mimic that by chopping up all of this plant material as if it's fallen to the ground, but chopping it up so it's smaller, like leaves are, and it'll also help it break down nicely over winter, so there isn't actually much left come springtime. So what I'm going to do here is chop up, and I've got some plant material here which is a bit green, I've got some which is brown, so a bit of nitrogen, bit of carbon, brilliant, and then I'll just lay that out equally over this part of the bed. So remember, just the more you chop it up, the quicker it's going to break down. But another thing is, try not to put your feet on the soil. It's not the end of the world, but when soil is a bit wet and then you have pressure, that is what can cause compaction. So I'm just going to work around, and that's why I kind of go for this kind of width of bed at about 1 metre to 1.2 metres. So I'm not stretching too far into the middle, and it's easy for me actually to just walk around to the other side to do a bit of work. I'm just mixing up all the ingredients. Don't think it'll make a good cake though. And the idea is, instead of taking all of this plant material, putting it on the compost bin, letting it break down, waiting time, and then bringing it back, you're actually just leaving all of the nutrients and also all of the carbon in place, in situ. So what I'm going to do now is just mix it up a bit, just so I know I have a bit of coverage with the greens and browns. And I'm now just going to spread it out so it creates an equal layer. Don't worry if it doesn't cover all of the soil, but you're just creating a roughly equal layer of this material across the bed. So the rule of thumb that I use is you want at least 2 to 3 inches of plant material. So that is 5 to 7 centimeters. I usually do it the other way around, but there we go, of plant material. And the idea is that that creates a nice insulative layer that will be effective over winter. But it's not too thick, but it's also not too shallow. It's kind of the Goldilocks zone. But sometimes just with chop and drop, you're not going to get enough material to do that. I did yesterday when I was clearing out that bed with mashua and ochre and other things. I think there's enough material there. I can always top it up with other stuff later on. But with this, what I'm going to do is use a material that's very available to me, which are leaves. But there's so many other things that you can do. You could even use wool, you can use straw, just make sure it isn't sprayed. You can use things like grass clippings, like in the like kind of the outer islands in Scotland, the Outer Hebrides, they very often just use seaweed as this. Or it could just be other plant matter that you might have from borders and stuff. And the next thing I'll be experimenting is ramule chipped wood. So I'm going to go and I'm going to collect some leaves to then finish this off, because I'd say there's just about 1 inch. So I want another couple of inches, another 5 centimeters, just to cap it over the top. Now, if you're at a place like an allotment where it's hard to source materials like this, then you have a few options. One is to save the chop and drop, and if you do want to put compost down, put it down, but then at least cover that with some organic material, because that's going to be much better than nothing at all. The other thing I'd consider is actually it's kind of cheaper to buy in things, even like organic straw, as like a bale that hasn't been sprayed, and putting that down, than buying all of that compost. And what I found is that I'm only really needing to use compost now for the hungrier plants when I'm planting at the base of the hole, rather than ever having to put down that amount of compost. So the homemade compost that I'm making is enough to power my garden, and that could be the same for you. So what I found with using just organic material like this is that I just see so many more worms now in my garden, which is a very good sight indeed. And all of this material is a bit like a sponge. So we have a lot of rainfall, and if you have just bare ground, rainfall can lead to compaction. So this, it softens the blow and it creates a nice warm insulation, because compost isn't really adding any warmth or insulation. So even today, when it was like really, really cold, at the bottom of the layer of the leaves, there were still loads of worms that were active. So this just helps to keep everything ticking over. I could leave the weeds in if I wanted to, so there is that kind of living plant material, but it's just much easier to start spring with a blank canvas, and we have to be realistic and practical about gardening. So what I'm going to do now is just mulch this. It's just worth noting there are some trees that have leaves that either have potential toxins in them or might be really slow at breaking down. So just look out for those. But usually going with your kind of like native trees is the best option. This is using sycamore, which has naturalized, and sycamore is totally fine. Now I know that a lot of people are going to ask, like, you're putting down these leaves, wouldn't they just blow away? So these were put down a couple of weeks ago and we did have a storm, but what happens is after a good like rainfall or a good watering, they kind of just like bind together. So maybe you might lose a few off the top and that's okay, but really it kind of binds together as one kind of core body. And if you're using something like grass clippings, then these really aren't going to be blowing away. Now you, like me, might have some plants that are going to be staying in over winter until spring. This here is a coldest. The focus here is just work around it. Just work around any plants that you might be keeping in. So all of the soil around is protected. It's actually going to help them keep the roots a little bit warmer, keep the biological life around the roots, around the rhizosphere, actually more active. So you are going to also be benefiting these plants, but then everything else all around can also get to work. So very simple. I've been amazed every spring by how beautiful the soil is as a result. Now, if you're worried about slugs, late winter, early spring, you could always rake off any kind of large bits, but most of it's going to be broken down. And it means that if you put organic material now and focus on protecting the soil and feeding the soil, then the organic matter later, which is both broken down in the bed, but also in your compost bins that should also be protected from the rain, that is when you get to planting. And if you want to find out more about my reasons for not using compost in autumn, I've got a couple of videos either side.